I do not envy the Calgary Flames. But you know, playing some decent hockey lately. Right in the Western playoff race. Got Camilleri back. He's doing all right. That's not bad. But the thing about what the Flames have done heading into this trade deadline is there is no turning back. Plan A is make the playoffs. Plan B is Plan A. Unless things have changed. Because Jay Feaster has said this team's making the playoffs. When they picked up Mike Camilleri, or I guess re-picked him up, they were indicating that they are a buyer. They're going for it. And in the midst of all this, a lot of critics and pundits are saying, what are you doing? Blow it up. Time for a rebuild. But it would appear that that's not going to happen until at least after these playoffs. So if the Flames are going to continue to buy heading into the deadline, you got to look at the assets they have to give. And there ain't much. Tim Erickson bailed. Greg Nemish looks like he's going to be a player. Sven Barchi, guy like TJ Brody. But can the Flames really afford to give away youth like that? I'd say no. And there's a bit, but there's not a whole lot of wiggle room under the salary cap for them. They could try trading Matt Stajan, but at $3.5 million in his production this season, that ain't going to happen. They could try dealing Lee Stempniak, I suppose. Maybe young guy and restricted free agent Michael Backlund. Nah, but again, the whole youth thing, What I'm getting at is, what do the Flames do other than try to make the playoffs with their current team? And I'm kind of making them sound helpless, and they're in a dogfight for the 8th and final playoff spot, but they're not hopeless. Captain Jerome McGinley is a fierce leader. He's been to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final before, so close, and you know he wants it. Olli Jokinen has been on an absolute tear this season, shutting up a lot of critics. And Mika Kiprasov is probably playing some of his best hockey since the Flames went to the finals. Statistically speaking, he's not far off from some of his career bests. Where on earth would the Flames be without him? So the Flames have some key, valuable parts, but they just have to hope that they're enough. And in terms of what they need, they just got to go after what they can afford. Some extra scoring depth up front probably wouldn't hurt, which doesn't mean they're going to go out and get some of the names that are rumored to be available. Brendan Morrow, Steve Ott, Rick Nash, Dustin Brown, Mikhail Grabovski. All too expensive. Or so it seems, unless Jay Feaster pulls off some craziness, because he's in a pickle. I know he just re-signed, but you know who would be amazing if the Flames got? Ales Hemsky. Can't wait to see what the team's Twitter says about it. All of a sudden, I think Hemsky's amazing! So heading into the deadline, you gotta give Feaster the props for saying, you know what? Screw this, we're going for it. But don't give him too much props until they actually make it. After all, after a recent poor performance, he said something along the lines of, oh, I could blow it up. But after he said all the things he did earlier in the season about making the playoffs, it's just a hollow threat, it seems. It's like, oh, son, you're gonna get grounded. Eh, you're not gonna ground me. Son, if you don't clean your room, I'm gonna trade you. Yeah, I'm so sure, Dad. I mean it, I'll trade you to Columbus. All right, geez, fine. I'll clean my room, gosh. So don't be surprised to see the Flames as buyers heading up to trade deadline day to help them make the playoffs, because they pretty much have to.